Migration Agency Kyiv, Kharkiv, Dnipro.
The Migration Agency has been providing services for foreigners in Ukraine in the field of migration law in the cities of Kyiv, Kharkiv and Dnipro for more than 5 years. In this video, you will be able to learn in detail about the procedure for obtaining a work permit in Ukraine and get answers to the following questions. What is the work permit in Ukraine? Why is it issued? Do you need to issue a work permit? What are the documents for this procedure? When do you get it in your arms? How to get a work permit in Ukraine? What is a work permit in Ukraine and why is it issued? A work permit in Ukraine is a document that permits official employment in a Ukrainian company of a foreign citizen. An employment permit for a foreigner is issued by a territorial body of the State Employment Service at the legal address of the employers for a period of 1 year or 3 years, with the possibility of its extension. The total time of employment in Ukraine is not limited. A foreigner or stateless person can start working in Ukraine only after obtaining a work permit. Do you need to apply for a work permit? Before you apply for a work permit, find out if you need it. Perhaps you fall under the category of people who can get a job without this permission. Employment of foreigners is carried out without a work permit for persons with a permanent residence permit in Ukraine, with official refugee status, granted asylum, temporary protection, workers of the foreign fleet or air and emergency services, working in the field of mass media, professional athletes, artists, those who work in the field of art, clergy to work in religious organizations, employees involved in the international technical assistance projects, teachers to work in universities, employees of representative offices of foreign companies are employed on the basis of service card. If you do not fall under any of the categories, you need to issue a work permit. Opportunities that open to a foreigner with a work permit in Ukraine: legal entry to Ukraine, official employment in the Ukrainian company, opening of a visa type D to Ukraine for countries with visa entry, grounds for obtaining a residence permit for 1 or 3 years, legal stay in Ukraine. What documents are required? The key elements in obtaining a work permit for a foreigner in Ukraine is an employment contract that is concluded between an employer and a foreign citizen, additionally served, depending on categories, information about the formation of the authorized capital of the company at the time of filling the relevant application. This applies to employed founders, participants, or controllers of a legal entity. A copy of the diploma of higher education and a certified translation into Ukrainian for university graduates who are in the first 100 of the world rankings. Copies of documents certifying copyright or related rights for persons of creative professions. For foreigners specializing in IT technologies, the data on the registered type of activity receives the relevant authority. A copy of the contract between the Ukrainian and foreign subject with the content of certain types of services and volume for business trips. For internally corporate assignees, the decision of a foreign business entity on the transfer of its employee to work in Ukraine is necessary. At the same time, a copy of the contract is needed. It is concluded between a foreigner and a foreign business entity. The period is indicated. If a foreigner is recognized as a refugee and needs additional protection, a copy of the decision on the execution of a document on recognition of refugee status, a certificate of appeal on the issue of protection. In addition to these documents, you will need an identity document, a passport of a foreigner, or a passport for travel. Validity. A work permit is valid until the expiration of the employment contract. Duration: 7 working days from the moment of submission of documents. What to do? If you have decided for sure that you need a work permit in Ukraine, then contact our migration agency. Our experts will prepare the necessary documents and promptly carry out the procedure for obtaining a work permit. The benefits of ordering a work permit with us: limited liability company Migration Agency is registered in the Unified State Register of Enterprises and Organizations of Ukraine. Specialization in migration law, free advice of migration experts, operational deadlines for processing your documents, signing of the formal contract, phased payment of our services, offices in Kyiv, Kharkiv and Dnipro, convenient working hours from Monday till Sunday, reception of calls from 8 a.m. till 9 p.m. without days off. Are you ready to apply for an employment permit for a foreigner in Ukraine? We are waiting for you in our offices in Kiev, Kharkov, and Dnipro. If you have any questions to ask, call right now and get a free consultation from our specialists. Contact our migration agency, get a work permit for a foreigner, and enjoy a full legal stay in Ukraine.